I met my wife Helen while studying in Leicester. We got married in 2014, bought a house, and then started trying for a baby. All the usual grown-up steps. When we found out she was pregnant, we were a bit nervous, but mainly excited. I read the recommended books, I gave back massages, I sang lullabies to the growing bump, and I finally learnt to drive, so I could take Helen to hospital appointments. I was a great dad before the baby came. Adam was born in 2017. Returning home from the hospital, we put him in the car seat in the front room and just looked at each other. We were like, we're in it now. And the first week was hard. He was blue lighted to hospital for breathing difficulties at 10 days old, and neither of us slept for about 30 hours or so. When we got back from the hospital, we both felt so young and so lost. For the first 3 months, Adam would only sleep if he was being held and swayed back and forth. He had mucus in his lungs and couldn't really settle, so he was tired all the time and he cried all of that time. It didn't matter if you fed him, changed him, sang to him or held him, he just cried constantly. I had no idea what to do. It's a completely new situation when you go from dealing with your friends and workmates, who you can talk with, to suddenly you're dealing with this screaming ball of fury who doesn't understand anything and can only cry and cry and cry. Because of the hospital trips, it was hard to treat his crying as trivial. We had no idea whether something was wrong with him or not, so we just worried all the time. I didn't handle it very well at all. I'm a very anxious person at the best of times, and I wasn't in a good place mentally. I wasn't suicidal. It was more this persistent feeling that I didn't want to exist. I became fixated on the fact that becoming a dad would be like the making of me. Perhaps he was watching too many movies. Like this would be my chance to show, my real character or something. But it doesn't work like that. What I'd actually done was turn this into an all or nothing game. I was either going to be an amazing dad or a failure. I put pressure on this tiny baby too. Hello son, welcome to the world. Hope you can fix me. The crying just gets to you. When it's relentless, it feels very personal. It's their way of communicating, but in that moment, it feels like a constant reminder that you are failing. I remember screaming in his face once, literally when I was at my wit's end. It makes me sick to my stomach to remember it, and I didn't do it again. My wife would be with him during the day. I would go to work, and as soon as I got back and walked through that door, she'd hand Adam to me. She needed a break. All evening would be spent with a crying baby. At night he didn't sleep, so it was work, crying baby, over and over again. My anxiety had cut me off from socializing, so I didn't really have much of a support network. I missed people, but I didn't want to bother them. We didn't have any family near us, so we felt cut off and very alone. I missed having time to myself, and you can get resentful very quickly. When we visited my in-laws, Adam cried the whole evening. I remember my brother-in-law turning to his son and thanking him for not being like Adam when he was a baby. He didn't mean it in a mean way, but we really didn't need to hear that. We were knackered, we were stressed, and we just felt like such a burden. It's hard to think of all this now, and me and Helen realized it was basically just us. There wasn't an adult going to come in and fix our problems. We were a team, and we had to lean into that. We took turns as much as possible, helped each other, and really learned to ask for help. We laughed a lot at daft moments, at the absurdity of what we were doing. Someone told us that if you do the Om, like when you meditate in yoga, to the baby, it will stop them crying. It works, but only for as long as you can hold that note. So we're sat in the front room and I'm doing the Om noise until I'm red in the face. And we just creased up laughing. Adam would sleep in the car because he was more upright. So we'd go on nice drives, park up somewhere, and we'd all sleep in the car. I used to sing sea shanties to him for hours too, just making up the lyrics about him, about my hopes for the future, and what he would go on to do. I wish I had more people to talk to at the time. Knowing I could talk to other dads would have really helped. We all think we've got it bad, and we have to be this stoic presence. We're all going through it. We're all tired. We've all been covered in baby poo and sick and thinking about our life choices at 3 o'clock in the morning. But it gets better. It does. I promise your body will adapt to the lack of sleep and the baby's cries. It's completely normal. Go and stand in another room to cool off, close the door and leave them for a minute. They'll be fine. And sometimes you just need to remove yourself from the situation and breathe. And what amazing moments are coming. Babies can be a blank slate, but when Adam first started smiling, all of that changed. It was like a lightning bolt. That first giggle, when you make a funny face, and suddenly that's all you want to do for hours.